Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Dragon Memoria. For those of you wondering what this is, well, it's Dungeons and Dragons. Or more specifically, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So if this is not something you want to watch, well, too bad. We started, we're not planning to changing, and it's going to be the same thing next week. Provided the world doesn't end. That's about it.
Sorry.
Are you alright there?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm good. I just dropped something on my computer and then turned around and kicked over my water bottle, and
Yes.
everything's great.
Perfect.
Then you did a sick backflip.
Yes, in my chair.
Threw your back out. And... Alright, so. For everyone else who's actually here because they want to be here, because they enjoy Dungeons and Dragons, because they enjoy watching us, because someone told them that they would enjoy watching us, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you with us. For the new ones, like I said, welcome. And for the returning ones, it's a pleasure to have you back. So, I think that's about everything we can say. As always, if you like the marsh ambience, there is ambient mixer. You'll find information below to...
Oh, that's what that noise.
Yeah! You know, the toads,
What is happening? Forgot about the frog.
You know, it's
Where's
the last one I made, so I sort of wanted to use it a little bit before I have to retune it. So, like I said, ambient mixer. It's to build ambience like this for whatever you want. It's a so long as you're using it as background noise or that you don't want to sell it. It's a royalty-free service. You can make your own. You can find those that other people have made. You only have to pay when you download it. Yeah, that's about it for the commercial part. And if there are any of you that are from Ikigai Live, hello. And that's about it. And if you're watching and coming from a different place, why not say where you're coming from in the chat? It's always fun to know where people are coming from and who are my Twitch neighbors. Alright. Because who knows? If you are enjoying another channel somewhere and you're always coming here to listen to us right after you watch another D&D channel, hey, make me aware of it and I might even try to reach out to them. It's always fun to have good neighbors.
Like a good neighbor, company name is there.
And you know, once
Not
you know
sponsored.
Yo, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying not sponsored by company name.
Not sponsored by company name.
Don't worry. Life is sometimes feel like it's sponsored by something. Like toads.
I thought you said something else.
Well, see, now you're just missing
don't have
out
to get
on
into
the
that.
on the huge toad market.
We don't gotta get into that.
There goes our Battletoad sponsorship.
Bad.
Not to mention the Totally Spies reboot.
Totally.
Hey, Remy, you
Oh,
have a fan. That was a good game. I miss it. Well, not too much because it really became hard after I don't know, 2 levels. So stupid motor jets. Yes, I played the game enough to have to be traumatized by it.
Oh yeah, all those levels.
Especially
Specifically that part of the gameplay just like never gets better.
no, it never does. All right, so well, I was hoping that audience would join us. In the meantime, we don't have any news from him.
We'll just wait for his we'll just wait for his call out in the middle of the woods.
that was this week. All right. Did anyone send him a text message?
I did.
Okay.
I haven't gotten anything back though.
Oh,
Oh, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, didn't he warn that this might happen because he was going on spring break?
well, he said he might be joining us with just voice, but he didn't say that he was just not going to be here.
Well, no, it's like I think it kind of like just comes with the implicit there might be difficulties depending on.
You said he joined
His
earlier,
arrangements.
right?
He was there on Discord a little bit earlier. I saw a green dot, and now we have a phone icon next to his name. So maybe he's just trying to join in.
Boot it up on his phone.
All right, so
He's trying to connect.
I believe he is in Florida.
all right. In the meantime, let's go with the very short recap of what happened last week. Next week.
Wow, I didn't think we were.
Hmm.
If we started like like doing like our own like personal predictions, like I've already got like a list over here.
Yeah, this arc was in the past, so the next one's going to be in the future.
All right, so last episode, the party finished its trek through the marsh, but not before our holy knight, the one absent tonight right now, had its fate tested yet again through his dreams. After waking up from witnessing a fight of titanic proportion between godly beings, our Fate Warrior was thrust back to reality with the very grim task of planning the death of the soldier they had been trying to keep alive for the past 3 days. Although for the player it was 3 weeks. With half of their party able to remember the tale told to them before entering the dream, the general mood of the party was less than soaring. Well, the party was less than soaring. The players, maybe better. So they explained the plan to the soldiers. They let them go. And they paid the price, which was foretold, in exchange for the predicted result. Well, with a few differences, however. Instead of all of the guards of the noble woman surviving, only 2 of them survived. And 1 soldier actually did survive. Because they made crazy rolls, and with all of the bonus that the party gave them so that they might actually manage to survive something, 1 of them actually did survive.
To be fair, I probably don't feel as bad for like the actual guards. Like they probably lived a very privileged life up to a certain point.
The guards, maybe. But the soldiers?
The soldiers not so much, but definitely the guards, though. Honestly, I'm just assuming that they were knights or somewhere thereabouts.
Yeah. And they were defending some woman that can apparently defend herself.
Yeah, that's always great.
And is very light-footed. But
Like, come on, Zelda, put some effort in it.
get your shit together, Zelda. See,
If you could have done this from the beginning, none of them had to die. Come on. What?
Yeah.
But just as everyone thought they were finally safe, they were pushed back to the reality of the next thing that had been predicted. And so as the party slowly made its way inside of the castle when Fisher stepped through the last arch of the entrance.
Yeah.
Tendrils of light appeared, a shrieking sound alerted everyone, and the tendrils snapped on Fisher's backpack. And this is where we left off. And this is where I was hoping the audience would join in.
Yep, definitely would be nice. He
He
talked to me about it, and we kind of planned some stuff out. But if he's not here, that makes it harder.
I just walk by. I'm like, I don't know that guy.
He just looks at everyone. I don't know them. I don't know them.
I mean,
Bye.
but like actually, we don't know what's going on.
Well, from the point of view of Fisher, what happened is probably more disorienting than what everyone else sees. Because the moment you enter this archway, you hear this shrieking sound. Instinctively, of course, you're going to try to look where this is, but all you can see is flashes of light behind you, and it feels like someone grabbed your backpack and pulled on it hard enough to make you probably do 1 or 2 steps backward. And then immediately, all you hear are soldiers moving about. You see them appearing from every door, shadows. You see things moving in the background. You hear rumbling noise. And within 2 or 3 seconds, you find yourself surrounded by spears, archers, and incredibly large machine reacting to your arrival. From your audience, Tobiyashi and Remy, there's probably something that starts out a bit more comedic in nature, but as soon as it kicks in what's really happening and how deep in shit you really are, there's probably a very different feeling that comes into your... well, wherever it's going to express itself.
I could feel it in my loins.
From your perspective, the moment that you saw this, you looked back and you saw these tendrils snap on Fisher's backpack, pulling him slightly backward. But you were in a better position to see all of the guards suddenly moving out of the shadows, doors opening, surrounding Fisher. Within a few seconds, you can easily see 24 guards, shield in front of them, spear drawn, pointing toward Fisher, archers coming out of seemingly nowhere and simply there, bows drawn, ready to fire. In the background, you can see these crab-like creature of huge proportion. The lower part looks very much like a crab without its claws. It has 6 legs, trying to move forward. What you'd say might feel normal, but doing its best to move forward. You see 4 spheres in front of this crab portion, which gives it a bit of a feeling of having eyes. Each one of them is glowing bright red. On top of the crab portion, you see a torso that looks pretty much like what you'd expect a knight to look like. However, the end of the arms have been replaced with ballistas. Covered in arcane symbol, glowing bright, you can even see distortion, visual distortion around the arm. So much there is power coming out of this. On both arms. The head has the same shape as a knight's helm, however it has 2 slits, and 2 eyes in each slits. 2 of them pointing toward Fisher, the other 2 pointing in different direction. You see 2 of those behemoth slowly moving toward the gate, and another one in the back that is just coming out of a room, you think, where they might have been stored. You also see from each side half a dozen what looks like knights, but of large size. But they look closer to what Fisher looks like. Very mechanical in appearance. However, when they draw their weapon, it looks only like the handle of the blade, but as soon as you're not sure what they do with it, you see the blade appear very long, size of the size of a long sword for a large creature. And on the other hand, you see a single strip of metal deploying, forming a round shield around their around their arm. The blade that they have has a more glass feel when you look at it, sort of like a pale yellow stained window feel to how the blade is. But you have half a dozen of these machine literally appearing. It is easy to see for anyone that knows how teleportation magic work, or all of those kinds of magic. It's probably something like a dimensional door that simply allowed them to poof inside the courtyard and make their way to where Fisher is. And all of them are staring at all of you, but even more so at Fisher.
I gotta get me some of that stuff. I'll just shoot my hands up and look to audience who is probably distracted, unfortunately. So like, sir, I can't defend myself against these people.
Well,
I don't know.
Since audience seems to be very surprised by what's happening right now, would anyone else, Jorg, Tobiyashi, maybe Remy, care to try and react to this initial thing? So for you, Jorg and Tobiyashi, the dream reality is pushing elements into you, but it is trying to match up what is happening. You are aware that Fisher is transporting a being from somewhere else. You don't know exactly where it is. You shared for a very short period of time concern because it was some sort of aberration. But, you remember dealing with a guild that said that it was probably very benign as strange being comes. Tobiyashi, you still have your reserve on that guild, but so far it hasn't given you reason to openly doubt them. Well, Remy, you remember exactly how everything is, so...
I look over to Jorg, and then I'll look over to audience, and then I look at Remy, I'm like... Feel...
Maybe
What?
Sure, we can sort this out.
I think maybe just at least create pause for a moment is going to shout in a woman's voice, "Wait, please, no, not my baby!"
I wonder when you heard that.
Not my baby.
Gee, I wonder.
Okay. Well, that definitely will draw some attention. You still, Jorg and Tobiashi, you still have time to do something before I go to the guards.
I do. I guess I'll
Oh, wait.
stand in front of Fisher, and
Oh,
Feeling the
I don't know
bulk
why I'm
of all
protecting
this
this goddamn
attention.
Jorg is gonna snorf and nuzzle Tobiashi because he's still a horse.
I guess. I guess I'm gonna be like as they're walking towards us, guessing that they're going to want us to say something. I'm gonna be like, what's the meaning of this? Why is this happening?
Okay. So. Okay. Of course, the guards don't really answer. They're just there to react to something. But you do hear one voice saying, something triggered the alarm of this. What's inside of his belongings? Not sure if it's actually your belongings, Fisher, or someone else.
All right, we blame this all on audience.
and
That's
seeing as
actually a
Sam and I
bonus
talked about this, can I kind of pilot audience into what
it's only
the
fair.
strategy we agreed?
It's only fair play. He piloted you last session, so.
In that case, audience would step forward and say, that's confidential. We need to talk to the protector.
Okay.
From behind, I'm just like, yeah, we need to talk to the protector. Don't get near him. I'm still standing in front of him.
Okay. So as you say all of this, I imagined with some degree of nervousness, although Jorg really doesn't show.
Jorg's gonna turn back into a
Jorg
person
is
before they
always-
lead him away, and also dispel his other horses.
All right.
Uh,
So
wanna
immediately
end up
as you
in a-
say this, okay, you hear the voice that was talking. It comes out of the shadow. It looks like someone who is slightly more armored than a civilian, but not to the point of being a knight or something. Maybe something along lines of some sort of priests. Takes a few steps forward and says, well, I'm very sorry, but no creature like this is going to enter this castle. You can imagine that we have problem with creatures like this.
I understand why. That doesn't change the fact that we need to talk to your boss.
And Fisher's not that ugly. Jeez, can't believe it.
Also, I think audience would probably turn to Kalina. I'm assuming she's in the vicinity.
Well, yes. However, there are now 3 rings of soldier between all of you and her. She sort of got yanked out of this position. Everyone reacting as if she's the most precious person in the immediate vicinity. So she's still a bit disoriented from how violent that reaction was. Yeah. If you give her a moment to say something, if you point her out. I know that they might feel strange, but I think that some of them are from a shard. They don't know everything they should. At least that's the most obvious answer.
Hey, Jorg, what's a shard?
You'd know the general lore of the world. That is something that's been thought by the exiled for quite some time. You know what a shard is. For viewers who might have just joined in, the concept of the world is simply the fact that something exploded reality. And shards are how the energy of creation manages to still channel through the world. And the shard is either something that the energy radiates into and outward, or literally a point of where the energy of two shards connect, creating a temporary shard. The world in which our party evolves is essentially the realm where the most energy from the shards, the highest variety of energy is, which is why the world is so diverse with everything in it. So she's saying that some of you, which would explain why some of you don't know basic information about the world, are coming from one of those shards.
I think Fisher is going to take a shot with that opportunity and go just kind of relax a bit.
Okay.
And drop all pretense of the construct playing into the construct that he's been doing for the past couple days, and just go, oh well, I guess that does that mean I have to stop pretending to listen to everybody anymore?
I look back at Fisher, dumbfounded. I'm like, did...
Toby,
wait.
we talked about this. Come on, man.
What? I don't know what he's talking about, guys. I honestly, I
knew it.
See, the horse
Rainy.
knows.
There's a light force
turned back
giving
into a person.
Jorg a pat on the shoulder, but then a light force immediately hits Toby in the back of the head.
And Fisher, do you have any idea about how audience might react to all of this?
Probably yes, what she said, which is why we need to meet with the protector. She needs to meet with him anyway. We brought her here safely, and that backpack needs to come with us. It's not dangerous, and it's contained.
You have a very large variety of reaction. A lot of people just are a bit dumbfounded by the fact that you suddenly adopted a more normal way of talking. Immediately you can see distrust in the eyes of many soldiers, including some that are pointing bows at you. Some of the soldiers, however, look at all of you and... What's that noise? That's not my ambience. There's a buzzing sound.
Oh, it might have been my phone.
Oh,
Too
okay.
close to my mic.
I know I don't have bees in my ambience. And by the way, I should stop it because you're no
All of
longer
a sudden,
in
bees,
March.
giant bees, everywhere.
Some soldiers are, like I said, some soldiers are looking at you, not sure what to make of this. For everything they know, you're not possible. And you're carrying something that they're actively at war against, that you apparently tried to hide. Some of them look at Kalina when she says this. Not something that's very obvious. They don't turn around and look back at you. Just a slight head turn in her direction and looking at all of you. The construct approaching do not react to this, other than finishing their approach and starting to feel like you're watching down the barrels of 3 war engines and a squadron of mechanical knights. All of them nearly twice your size. The
So
one
it was nice being in a group with you guys. I will see you guys later.
you also
Uh,
probably Remy and Tobiashi. I believe Tobiashi, you're the second one with the highest perception. Is that it?
Yes.
So Remy and Tobiashi, there's also one detail that you sort of notice, is that the circle of soldiers around you is exactly 10 feet wide. And there are currently 6 ballistas pointing at the center of it. There's a thought in your head that goes, maybe the blast radius is 10 feet. The priest approaches. Tobiashi, I believe you started sweating a few moments ago.
Yeah. I start sweating a little bit. I'm looking at Fisher. I look back at them. I look at Fisher again. As soon as I look back at Fisher, just a bunch of sweat. I'm like, what are we supposed to do?
I think I'll also add,
Go ahead.
we're not where we're from. We're not in a war against those things. Obviously, meaning I don't need those super advanced arcane ballista things, which are pretty sweet. But when you're not focusing on that stuff, you get to focus on the more complex, cooler stuff, like a soul consciousness.
Just what Chads have.
Raimi is just going to shout in a man's voice, come on, you wouldn't know to fly. And then immediately in a woman's voice, baby!
Well, there's a general sense of confusion, but some of them seems to pay attention to what you're trying to say. They're trying to figure it out, at least. You get that much from some of the soldiers. Kalina just asked, one of them talks really funny. Don't worry too much about it. The priest takes a few steps forward and says, even so, I'm afraid you will have to leave whatever is in your backpack at the entrance. Or we can always take you in and ask your corpses questions.
my corpse doesn't know anything.
Look over at Fisher. I'll be like, you should probably leave it at the door. You want one of us to stay here and keep an eye on it?
I want to keep an eye on it, but I also probably need to be there to explain it, because the only other person that understands it enough to explain it will have trouble communicating that fact.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, we could always have George protect it. George. I don't know who George is.
It's his brother.
Polina, how many guards survived?
1. But right now, you're surrounded by a little over 60 soldiers. There's
Your
2
guards seem
guards
like
and
cool
1.
people.
There's Two
Can we borrow one?
Two of her personal guards and one soldier that survived.
I mean, I guess
borrow
maybe
guard
like
for?
Raimi holds up his hands and poofs into it.
That'll work. Yes.
Yes, of course. 24 Archer looking in the direction. Let's see how startled they are by this.
Hey, audience, you should keep your cat with it, and George could leave his dog with it, and then all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we know.
Or
Audience's cat doesn't poof into appearance like
you just
Raimi's
banish it with
does.
your whip.
It
and
takes a
poop
little
it out
longer.
later.
All right, so. What's your cat's AC?
Probably like
The AC
11?
of the AC of a Kenku taking all of the shots.
there you go.
All right, all right. Okay. So as you make your cat appear, you sense an elevated amount of tension towards something that just appears in front of them. I wish I could snap in a way that you can easily hear. I hate the snap. Yeah.
There, I did it
This
for
is
you.
so far in the past. They haven't domesticated cats yet. They don't know what that is.
No, it's actually more... The reaction is not the cat. The reaction is the appearance of something with 24 archers already very nervous. I was rolling to see if one of them breaks as this happens and lets an arrow loose. One does with a natural one.
I was gonna see if I could try to catch it. It would have finally been useful. Oh my gosh.
Well, there are
Can you try
several.
and catch it?
There,
I could.
there are several arrows, so you can always try to catch one.
Yeah, I'll just ready my action to use my deflect missiles and see if I could catch it.
No, I mean you can use it. You use one now because you have
right now?
4 arrows coming at Remy, who just put himself in front of his cat.
Oh, I guess yeah, I could try to catch one. Okay, yeah, I'll try to catch one. All right, shoot it at me. How much damage does it do?
Yes, that's right. It's because it's with damage. So 1 arrow's arriving at you is a 18 to hit. Does that hit?
Well, okay, so you said 4. You said 4 arrows, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm taking into consideration that you're placing yourself in front of a incoming arrow.
Yeah. All right, I was gonna
4
see if
are
I could
going
use.
at Raimi's
I was gonna see if
cat,
I could use
which is
all
Raimi.
4 of my key points to try to catch all of them, but
No, unfortunately, it's a reaction to use this, so you can only
Yeah.
catch one at a time.
all right. Well, I'll try to catch one.
All right. So is 18 enough to hit you?
Yes, that is enough to hit me.
Okay.
I just need to know how much damage it does.
Oh, jeez. 11 points of piercing damage. It's a really good shot.
12. 12 is what I rolled. 5 plus 7. So I catch it.
It's the first time in your life that you do this in a stressful situation. You see the arrow arriving and... There's sort of a moment in your... There's a moment inside of you... Caught it on the first try!
Turn around and Raimi's
Wait, my
just dead, pinkish, and full of the rest of the arrows.
Yeah.
So for the other arrows, Remy, I would imagine that not a natural 20 hits.
This is when the shield spell just comes up.
Okay. Well, in that case, that was the highest roll. I had a 20, unnatural 20, a 18, and a 17. So, no matter what,
I think-
you poof the cat, and you see You see Tobiashi catching one arrow, looking really proud of himself. And then you see all the 3 other arrows arriving. One of them, I believe, completely misses you, but the 2 others, you raise the shield and it deflects off the shield. And immediately you see tension because you also used magic in this tense situation. But fortunately, this time, no one breaks.
Is an arrow ready?
I think audience would shout out at this point, probably. Just like, hey, stop it. What kind of discipline is this? You not know how to hold a shot? Who trained you guys? You should be better.
Be better.
You know the difference between a cat and those fucking weird abomination things outside?
The priest makes another step forward, reaching the first of the 3 rings of soldier. And says, please, so long as no one has done anything to harm anyone, there's no need to prematurely kill everyone. What is the meaning of this?
Is he pointing to the cat?
Well, he's looking at the cat.
Remy, take it away. As they walk to the side.
But I like,
I think audience would just be like, that's Ramy's cat. I think that's
And this
as
is
far as
my
he knows.
cat. And
like,
this one's a
"It's a cat."
dog.
Or
Bork.
Fisher will speak up. You know what a familiar is? Ever met a wizard?
familiar with that concept.
Remy, is there something you want to add?
just like he would just like respond in at least most others in the actual party voice. So wherever you go, Raimi, I go.
You get a feeling that it didn't make things worse, but it didn't make things better either.
Nothing slows things down like confusing people.
However, when
Like,
yes, go ahead.
but Raimi's just going to repeat in Fisher's own voice, Terry, and then hold up.
The
A
priest
decent analogy.
The priest crosses his arm, looking at you, but just as he's about to say something, you see Zedkan falling from the sky, and right behind the priest, you feel the sense of weight. Weight as he touches the ground. It's really a, and suddenly, every single guard feels there is a sense of relief of him being here, but also of extreme concentration. They feel safer, but they also feel like, oh shit,
Captain's on deck.
yeah. Immediately he turns toward all of you and says, what is the meaning of this?
The tentacles and something in his backpack were from another shark. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what's going on here. We're trying to come in from protecting Kalina and these tentacles. They have my boy back there, and he's not leaving without what's in his backpack.
He looks.
Now I'm gonna let audience or the man himself explain themselves before I make this any worse.
Maybe I'll just respond in the woman's voice again. Baby!
Okay.
So we could explain this all, but it's gonna take a while. So if we could do that somewhere, not being threatened with imminent death by lots of soldiers, that would be appreciated.
I'm afraid the danger needs to be assessed before you can enter the castle. Put your backpack down. Show me what's inside. He takes one step forward and simply says, "Now."
I'll take the backpack off and like hold it in front of me. I'm just, if you're here, they can put down the bows. I don't want what happened to my friend's cat happen to this.
You sense an extreme sense of nervousness in the soldiers when you say this, especially those with bows. He looks up. He looks at you. No one will fire.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Okay. So essentially, I'll kind of start telling the story as I'm opening my backpack and pulling out Terry's box. Essentially, I ran into a gnome who offered to give me a discount on potions if I drank a mystery potion. I drank said mystery potion, and this thing came out of me. It lives in this little box. It's rather intelligent, but it can't affect a whole lot so far. And I haven't opened the box since we arrived here, wherever here is. So I don't know how it would react if you open the box. But the box has holes in it if you want to look at it through the... I mean, they're not big holes, but... And I will present it, but not open it yet. It's like a little worm thing. Call him Terry.
Cruz.
It Terry. I don't know if it has a gender or a biological sex.
As you're sharing your story,
Like I said, we're not from here.
as you're sharing your story, you do hear a few soldier having a
Never just laugh.
well, yeah, they're holding a laughter especially as Fisher says that he accepted to take a potion from a gnome.
Like, what an idiot.
But the moment you hear a single whisper in the crowd, you simply see a twitch in Kadskan's head, and immediately every single guard shuts up. There's not a single sound. He looks at the box.
Can I do
Yes.
maybe like an insight check? Does this being, I was going to say dude, but that seems inadequate, seem like
Dude.
this kind of... Does it seem like he's kind of like a tyrannical, overbearing leader, or is it just on high alert because we're in the middle of a war?
Yes, you can make an insight roll.
My dice out. Let you look at that.
He really looks hard to read with that roll.
People in the past have different emotions. I don't know what this is.
You're
I
looking at
barely have
him, and it
emotions
feels
myself.
like it's stone. that has come to life. It's so hard reading him. He is extremely professional.
Hey, that's what my emotions look like.
Actually, just for fun, just like could I do a roll to see how many details of this massive figure that Raimi can memorize for later use?
I'd say that would probably be investigation.
While this is happening, I am going to quickly check myself for the pendant and see if it's still on me.
With the
That'll
pen
be
and piano.
22 investigation.
No, you managed to commit a pretty decent image of him. You even have this thought of, how can I draw his radiant aura on a piece of paper? That I don't have what I need for that. But yeah,
But then he remembers. But then he remembers yet.
So yeah, you look at him and you have a pretty good image burnt into your mind. For Tobiyashi, what was what was the question again?
Oh, I was looking to see if my pendant was on me.
Oh
at
yeah,
this
the pendant.
painstaking time.
You don't see, no, it's not on you, but you don't see it anywhere in the immediate vicinity.
Okay.
Not with your passive perception anyway. You can always make a perception roll, but
I'll make a perception roll. I'll look around. I'm perceiving the guards too. I want to see who's looking the most nervous and where I'd have to stand to catch another arrow if it were to be shot. And that is the greatest roll I've ever done. That's a 9.
then the tension of the situation is making your vision slightly blurry. You're not catching a whole lot of details, other than the fact that you have well over 50 spears and arrows pointing at your little party, along with 6 ballistas and a dozen mechanical guards. And
Okay, I got
this
nothing.
thing who can apparently disintegrate a beholder with his breath. So
Alright.
that's what you get with a 9. But right now you're not seeing your pendant anywhere. He looks at you. I would imagine you are sophisticated enough to understand that your action seems very suspicious.
Sus.
Open the box yourself.
Fair enough. I go to open it, and then I pause. Want to warn you, I'm gonna tap on the box. It's my signal to it that it's safe, and that I'm opening the box.
Okay.
Even with his journal, he should know something right in front of him is not the dangerous thing. Even with his different interpretation.
Well, he's definitely gonna have a surprise. Terry, I mean. So, you open the box and you see Zadskan just close his eyes for a moment and take a deep breath. Then open his eyes again. Terry's not looking.
Yeah, how is like
Terry's not looking in Zadskan's direction. He's looking far to the east.
Which way's east? Is that the way we just came in?
Slightly in that direction, yes. But historically speaking, he's looking in the direction where all of these creatures keeps coming from, which is far to the east.
Do I clock that?
Well, you know that there's an unusual element in the fact that he's usually always looking in your direction when you open the box. You've
And he's
only
not.
seen him do this once. When you had the green gem on you that you found in the abandoned gnomish laboratory.
Speaking of which, we don't have that on us
No,
anymore, do we?
no, you left.
No, we left that at the lab for further study.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You don't know how much easier your life has been because you've made that decision.
Oh, the fact that we didn't have a aberration beacon on us this entire time?
Yes. In fact, I think I suspect that that is one of the reasons why Draken made sure to make special emphasis on what we were doing with that gem before we left the garden last.
It's a good insight roll. So, like I said, he's looking a bit where you're coming from, but also directly to the east. He has just this vague, faint moment of slowly turning his head toward you, and then turning his head back toward the east.
Can I close it? If there's something here that is affecting it in a bad way,
Then he
I would
shouldn't
prefer
enter the
that.
castle, don't you think?
it won't matter. It's a little worm in a box. You want me to tie a rope around the box?
He puts one knee down next to the box and tries to touch Terry.
He doesn't like claws. He calls them dagger or like sharp appendages and is scared of claws. That's why he doesn't like Raimi here. This is a warning if he reacts a certain way if you try and touch him.
There is a half a second pause when you say this, but he keeps moving forward and touches Terry. Terry distractingly just turns around in his direction. Zutkan keep looking at him for a moment. He gets up. You can close the box. Isolate the box for now, but they can enter. And he just leaves.
Thank you. I'll close the box.
You have the priest that arrives. The priest, as Zadskan is crossing his eyes, crossing his line of sight, the priest has an immediate sort of just a bowing gesture. You notice he is very uncomfortable, but nevertheless, he turns toward all of the construct in the background, gives a single sign. You see them all lower their ballistas and the mechanical soldier retracting their shield and swords. Oh, and he makes his way to you, Fisher, and says, "I'll take the box then." He takes out what looks like a silken rope, but it has a slight shine to it. Magical shine. Give me the box. He made it clear it needs to be isolated.
Can you take the cat too?
If that is the condition, of course.
All right, I'll give him the box.
Takes the box, he wraps the silk around it, and when the two ends of the silk meet, they just fuse together. You get the impression this is sort of a binding spell, as if he put magical chain on it. And he looks at the cat, and Remy, you sort of you see the demeanor of someone who is not a cat person. Bend down and take the cat. And walks away.
As he's walking away, I don't know if anybody does anything, but I'm going to walk up to him and be like, "Where'd you get that silk? That silk's really nice. Did you get it from somebody?"
I made it.
Oh, how'd you make it?
Toby, I think the man is under a lot of stress and is carrying out a very important job right now. I wouldn't bother him.
But all right, I'll ask him later.
He leaves. You slowly, one by one, you see the soldiers lowering their weapons, and of course, Fisher, you've had extensive martial training. You know that it's hard to maintain an arrow notched for 15 minutes on end. So you see the archers just release the tension in their bow, and some of them just go, "Ah." And they all look at those that fired in the beginning, and you just
I look at one that looks like he's particularly sore or tired from it. Like, I tried to let you off the hook a little earlier, but he seems like he's really on with security and stuff.
Yeah, you're talking to one of the archer?
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Amy just pipes up in a woman's voice, just like, "Oh, don't worry, premature release happens to all men eventually."
As the priest is still going away and Fisher's talking to the guard, I'm going to. I want to keep an eye on where the priest is going, like exactly where he's going.
He goes away. How long are you taking that into consideration? He looks to be going on the other side of the court, and this is a very large court. You have the feeling
Until I see him enter a door.
Sorry?
Until I see him enter a door.
Okay. So this is the first time that you can actually take a moment to take in what the entrance of this very large city looks like. And you get the feeling that the entrance of the city is really made to impress people. It is a very long courtyard there is a fountain in the middle of it. There are a few trees on the side. There's a very well-maintained cobblestone path coming from the gate's arch and moving straight forward. And there is a good maybe 60 or 70 feet between the stone path and the beginning of some structures. And they're very elegant structure, sumptuous even. Get the feeling that a lot of the wealthier merchant have found a way to place themselves directly at the entrance of all of this. He seems to simply start moving off, and he keeps going on the stone path. You'd have to follow him to be able to see where he's going.
So at this point, are all the guards away? Does it look safe for me to follow him?
They're slowly taking back their position. Some of them, you see them visibly relaxing a little bit. A few of them are very curious to Fisher. The one soldier that actually survived all of this is looking at all of you and with eyes that says, "You're all insane."
Yeah, I'll nonchalantly walk 60 feet behind him. I also want to do a so
One
is there a way?
One thing you also see as you're preparing to do this, Zadkan is also...
He's still right in front of us, isn't he?
He's moving away.
Okay.
He still looks very focused, very mad about something, and he just gestures to some guard to surround Kalina and follow him.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll try to sneakily walk past and follow him. I'll look back to everybody else and just wave and then walk off.
I'll lean down towards Remy. What's he doing? Do you think... Does he not know why the cat's there?
No, I don't.
I mean, I guess I know, like, since everyone else kind of like had like their own insight, like maybe Remy could take a shot. I don't know.
Well, go ahead.
Or like, or should I just like, or can I just like make my own assumption that based on what we know from the story and knowing exactly what he's pissed about. But
no, of course you can take what you know about the story and easily imagine what's gonna happen behind closed door and very, very soon. In
which case,
he's going to chew her up and spit her out.
Yeah, in which case, Ramey's just going to like, make like a tiny minor illusion in his hand with Kalina's figure on it.
Wait, is Toby following Zadkan or
no, the priest? But I'm gonna also be doing something else. It's not just I want to know where you got that silk from mainly.
And I want to know what everyone plans on doing.
I think audience, if I remember correctly, he wanted to be there when she got chewed out.
Okay.
Because she wasn't listening to him when he tried it.
Okay.
So I think, Fisher would be also following.
Okay.
Audience in that direction. And
Ramey's path has already been decided. So.
What else to do?
So basically, Fisher, audience, and Remy are all going in the same direction toward where Kalina is being taken. Tobiashi is following the priest. Jorg?
Jorg also wants to see her get chewed out, but he's not like that interested in it, but he's gonna follow Fisher.
You still a horse?
No,
No.
I kind of wish I stayed a horse. That would have been more exciting.
Nothing's preventing you from becoming a horse again.
Don't worry about
I
him.
could
Let
just
the
turn.
horse around.
No, I only have one use, don't I? Or no?
No,
do I?
you
You
have
have two
two.
per
Oh, I
short
do have
rest.
two.
You have two wild shape use.
2 per
I
short rest.
forgot. I could turn back into a horse. That'll be a little weird, so I'm not gonna do that.
Like a small animal.
Like a cat again.
Another cat.
They just keep multiplying.
I mean, that's kind of how it works in real life. So
What do you think is over to the east?
I think that's where they're coming from. I think that's where
Yeah.
the portal is,
So it's just the portal.
which is what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
I like how there's just gonna be an audience of people watching Selena get chewed out. Like,
Good. Watching someone get that chewed out,
hmm
Right, well,
I think I would,
or like that get chewed out is what I mean.
Remy. It looks like he's trying to be inconspicuous, so I don't want to just shout his name out. But could you quietly tell Toby not to get lost or something? I don't know. He seems like he's doing his own thing, and he doesn't remember stuff, right? So
you know what? Just yeah. I want to see what happens first. I want to so Raimi's going to put like a gentle, literally like a gentle nudge with Mage Hand in the direction of Tobiyashi.
okay, so
wait, and
There's just like this insistent force that just keeps pushing on your body to go a certain direction.
like
Nice.
like when there's a 5 years old that just keeps poking you.
I'm just like, what am I feeling? What are these feelings? Oh my god! I look over to where they're walking. I'm like, mm-hmm.
No, this was on Jorg because Jorg doesn't know where they're going. So maybe trying to like subtly guide him in a direction without him realizing he's being guided.
Well, Tobiyashi, you know that Remy has the ability to do this. So you sort of have a clue that, all right, Remy wants me to follow them.
I'm like, I'll wait till it cools down a little bit. I think that'd be better. But he's about to leave. I don't. Okay, all right. I'll find him later.
All right, so
I'll start walking towards him.
you all make your way and take a short moment to push Tobiyashi in the right direction and have a consensus with everyone on what you're doing. So you're, I don't know, maybe 100 feet behind them while they're walking. So
Okay.
they enter what looks like some sort of barrack, really made of stone, made to resist attack. Windows are not big, so they all enter, and as you're walking more and more toward this place, you start hearing a very volatile conversation on the other side of the door you are going to. It's still very muffled. You're having trouble understanding everything they're saying. But as you arrive, you do notice that the door is not closed and locked. It's slightly ajar. You could easily push in.
Ooh. Okay, guys. I could do this fancy thing where I could read lips, right?
Well, from the moment that you decide to open the door, the conversation is volatile enough that you'll probably be able to understand what's going on.
Okay.
Is it like closed but not latched, or is it like kind of
cracked open?
Feels like one of the guards simply tried to push the door close, but it didn't work.
Remy, do your thing. do your hand thing.
I think
I'm going to ignore making my own joke there, and so Ramey's just going to like Actually, does this look like a door that creaks?
It's the door from a barrack. They don't exactly oil it every single day, but it's not something that's gonna wake up everyone sleeping in the room.
In which case, like he's gonna do his best to open that door just a little bit more so that the sound carries.
All right, so make I'd say sleight of hand check. See how agile you are with this.
Hey, Jan.
I mean, I don't even have to do that, but oh god, I can't read this number very well. What number is that? Oh, okay. 21.
All right.
I thought it was a 1, but it was actually 2 1s next to each other.
Okay. So you manage to push the door sufficiently to hear well what's inside, but there's a moment where you sort of hear the onset of a small so you stop right before it starts. But with a roll like this, you manage to stop right before it really resonates. So you have enough room to understand what they're saying, but not enough to poke your head in.
All right. In which case, like he'll just use his natural perceptive abilities and hope that was enough.
So basically, you don't mind having this as a podcast and not a video. Okay. Everyone can also hear most of what is being said. But when you start listening to this conversation, the voice that comes out first is Zadkan, who is talking to Kalina, takes a break from whatever he was saying. Then you hear some movement, most likely him. Feels like an armored movement. And he says, You go in a room, you find a statue. It looks like a dragon sitting cross-legged. You take it to my chamber. You hear Kalina go, That was a gift from my father on his deathbed. He gave it to me. He answers, That was a gift from your father, the king, so that you would always be able to escape should the wards and barrier of this castle fail, not to go adventuring whenever you feel like it. And your mother, the queen, took my oath that you would always stay safe until you are crowned. Then she sacrificed herself to save you. You hear movement and you hear some sort of pain reaction from Kalina. You're not gonna get this again until you can prove you can at least rule decently. You are to be crowned in a week. The population does not need a dead adventuring princess. They need a living ruler. You hear movement again, and you hear literally this time a wince. You don't know what's happening, but Kalina is in pain right now. You hear Zadkan simply says, "You make sure none of this escapade makes it to the public. Is that understood?" You hear one of the guards say, yes, sir.
I'm gonna slowly start walking away. I don't think I need to hear this, so I'm gonna go back outside and make sure I don't get caught for when they're gonna come out. I think I heard enough.
As you're moving away, you're just making a few steps away from the door, and the door opens very quickly, and Kalina comes out. She's cradling one of her arms and making sure no one sees it. She sees all of you and just has a moment of looking at all of you. She's holding back tears. She doesn't say anything. She just keeps on walking. Remy, with your past and your passive perception, there's one thing that strikes you as a bit different and unusual. Usually when a woman is mistreated, it feels like she is holding back tears because of the pain, because of mistreatment, shame. This is not the emotion you're reading right now. She's holding back tears because something happened in there that she did not want to happen, and it's not her injuries. And she just keeps on walking. She just stopped to watch all of you for 2 seconds, and she kept on walking. You hear another door opening, and then heavy footstep leaving, which you deduce is probably Zadkan. Leaving from another door.
And I'm assuming that Kalina is presently being flanked.
She's leaving. Well, you don't see anyone, but she's moving with assurance and a demeanor that you did not see before. She is walking in a way that is very straight, very commanding. Usually, a noble that has this demeanor is being looked upon also, but not necessarily by something you can see. She feels protected.
Mm-hmm.
And confident.
Well,
Yeah.
that definitely didn't feel as good as I thought it was going to.
Yeah,
Is that the only reason she had to leave the castle? Just to go exploring?
yeah, she kind of got a lot of people killed by doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in
I
a
mean,
way,
that's
she
kinda-
probably
pretty
deserved
brave.
it, but I didn't want to hear it. Why'd I have to come this way, Remy?
I mean, it's one thing to get chewed out. It's another thing to...
Okay, hold on. Okay, no,
These
Raimi's
people.
gone.
Well, that was depressing. I'm gonna start leaving the room.
So, yeah, where are we?
You're
Like the barracks or something?
at a barrack inside of the, let's say, the first court of this place. There are not a lot of people. The increased activity in soldiers in the past, let's say, half an hour made everyone, all the civilians go away. They were just afraid something was going to happen. But slowly you can start seeing people peek out of different alleys, wondering what's going to happen, if everything's good. It's a very rich quarter, very well decorated, and it goes on directly to another archway, which, when you look at this, you can easily see the castle a bit in the distance. You get the feeling that this is supposed to be the main road that leads directly to the castle. So it's basically the very lush entrance of a very large city. One that is, you can suspect by how rich it is when you enter this place. Were they not in a setting of war? It is a city where it is good to live, where people do not feel like they're surrounded by misery. Um,
Kind of just like, oh no. But probably bigger.
Oh, it is definitely bigger than Otanel. Like I said, for Fisher and audience, because you've seen Kohornathil, the capital of the Dragonborn city, you've seen a city that
Okay.
is bigger than this one. But to your knowledge, this is the only city you know that is bigger than Bahanor. And judging from the wealth at the entrance of this place, they are not in any needs. Judging by how many construct defending the entrance there is, they have a lot of spending money in general. But the ambience is bleak because everyone knows what is outside of the city. And there is this tension that never leaves of people knowing what their probable end will be.
So, we got 3 days.
Four.
Probably. Right.
What's happening in 3 days?
You have
Sounds
this
like a pretty
brief
well-defended
moment of
castle.
you have this brief moment of acknowledging, yeah, 3 day. 3 day for what?
What's happening in 3 days?
Until we don't know what happens anymore.
Wait, so you guys knew that was all gonna happen?
Vaguely.
Man, I mean, it would have been nice if you told us sooner. I mean, at least me, I didn't. Yeah. I don't know if I would have believed you, but I do now since you're talking like a regular human being.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
it's
I appreciate that we got to that part.
and it's a weird feeling that he's talking like a person. It feels normal but weird.
Well, I mean, if we have 3 days, what are we gonna do? I mean, we can finally like go eat something. Well, I'm sorry, you can't eat anything, but the rest of us could go.
I mean, I
Eat.
can. It's not. huge.
I don't know. They're probably on war rations right
There's no
now.
really point for it. So
Would they be on war rations?
There's a high chance, especially since now they have officially
Cities
entered into a
surround.
siege situation. They are going to start rationing.
Wait, he said something about her being queened in a or queen ruler being
In a week.
crowned
She is to
in a
be
week,
crowned
right?
in a week.
Sounds like they're not going to make it that long? Question mark. And
that
how
kind
do
of
you know?
the,
right.
well,
You're
that's
laughing.
what the story said.
Or another shard, right?
So wait,
So
did
you guys heard like a story about this shard from your other shard, and now you're, and what, you
We've
like
tried
jumped into
to
this
keep
one?
explaining it, but every time we try and explain it, you guys
Oh yeah.
forget about it.
I'm going to just roll with it then.
That's kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah. Well, she just started talking about shards now, so I got a little more confused. But yeah, I'm good.
Not necessarily. I mean, that would be kind of weird. We could be on a different shard. We still haven't decided if we're actually in the past or if we're just in a dream of the past.
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm gonna start writing this down.
There's so much new information for you, Tobiyashi. Shards, he's talking. They knew what was going to happen because they're in the past, meaning they're from the future.
Which meaning I'm from the future. Oh my god.
No, you're pretty sure you're not from the future.
Okay, yeah. I can't be from the future. That's why she said some of us. I got it. Yeah. I'll start writing it down, reading it every once in a while, knowing why we're actually here, and where the hell I met these people at.
You think
So
it's at
what
the
are we gonna
guild.
do?
That guild that you sometime work with that said that Fisher's worm was okay.
So wait. So what is this orb for? I'll take out the orb from my bag.
I want to know what.
Honestly, I have no idea. It is pretty angry. Usually it's just kind of really angry in general all the time. Recently, it's just kind of angry at you because you didn't know what was going on. I don't know.
This
I
orb
honestly
is?
don't know what's up with that thing. But I mean, if I'm being honest, it kind of makes me uneasy. But at the same time, I'm carrying around a little worm thing that.
Okay. All right.
So,
I'll trust
not
you.
really my place to judge, but I mean, you seem to like hitting stuff with it, so
Make a
No, I
deception
meant-
roll.
I meant the crystal orb that cost the freaking people.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's what
there
I
are
pulled
too
up.
many balls.
balls in this campaign.
It's red, right? It's been red since we got here.
It has no light in it.
Oh. Well, apparently it's just a ball. Right now.
Right now, it's
At
a
least.
really sturdy glass ball.
I mean, you could probably hit somebody with this too.
All right, I'll keep that in
Oh.
mind. So
But
what?
I'd hang on to it. It'll be important later.
Thank God audience remembers what it is, because he has a past with those things.
All right, okay. I think that's enough information for one day before my head explodes.
Fair enough.
Is my
So what
jar
are we doing now?
glob jiggling?
We just wait 3 days?
I would like to get Terry back, or at least be able to see it.
Well,
I'm kind of worried that
you have to remember, you have a high-placed friend in this castle.
You're
Jorg,
like,
your little blob. Jorg, I think you should go to sleep very soon because
I
I
think
think
so.
you're about to fall asleep,
Um,
which is not going to help because we're about to go on break.
no.
I'll go downstairs and slap him a little bit.
Throw a glass of water in his face. If he asks what it is, you say it's a cantrip. So you take the little blob out and you look at it, and you're starting to gain a little bit of perspective on how it's dancing. The way it's dancing right now, it basically says you're surrounded by danger. Really bad danger.
Kind of saw that coming.
It's a good dance, you know. He's jiggling,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not jiggling as if
Breaking
the enemy.
vial.
He's not jiggling as if the enemy was staring right at in your eyes, but
Yeah.
you know he's very nearby.
Not like it would have been if he'd pulled it out like 20 minutes ago when we were surrounded by soldiers.
And you have no idea how close you came to all dying there.
That would have been exciting.
Well, at one point you were going toward a mistake, and then you veered away. So
I feel like this would have been easier if
with
Sam was here to help me execute the plan that we kind of put together.
all right.
But
So as all of this happens, and you look at Jorg's little blob jiggling in its bottle, Tobiashi starting to take notes, Fisher looking around and looking at audience, you know, we did a good job. I wish you'd done more, but and then you look around and you notice Remy's not here. Well, it happens, but still here.
not again.
Now you know how the guards
Every time.
felt around Kalina.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You have this moment of, oh, that's how they felt. And so, we're going to go to our break. And when we come back, we're going to start with Remy. Because he sent me a message in private to tell me what he was doing. So. Alright, so apparently people don't like all that much the marsh. So we're going to go with Thunderstorm.
It's very good. It's just also a lot.
Okay.
It's not like the storm is, or like the campfire is very like normal background noises you're used to hearing. The swamp is a lot of like, what was that?
Well, if you live near a swamp or in a swampy area, you'd be more used to it. I hear something like this every summer, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so see you back in exactly 15 minutes. And don't remember, subscribe while you're away. Follow us, and don't forget to go to the bathroom. See you in 15 minutes. Bye.
Right.
Haha, welcome back. Oh, what an ominous lightning bolt as we come back. That's probably because we have partially bad news. Audience can't make his internet work, so he is definitely not going to be here for the rest of the evening. And Jorg fell asleep, so I'm teasing him. But as you could all see, he was very tired, so He is taking the rest of the evening off so that next week he can be there. Kill something.
square.
I don't know.
Or be trapezoid.
The other game I'm
Wait,
in,
that's not how that
my
expression
DM
goes.
has started making anybody who shows up late roll a con save or turn into a cube.
Oh. How do you put him back to
I'm a
normal?
Ramakosa dodecahedron.
I keep showing up a minute late, but I'm a 18th level barbarian, so it doesn't matter.
You always
Like
have a
con
very
save,
square
okay.
shape.
Oh no.
Doesn't matter.
Oh
You always
no,
have a
whatever
very
will
square
I
shape.
do?
Yeah.
All right. So, but Jorg's absence and audience internet problem might not
Shopping
affect
episode.
this. Might. What did you say?
I said shopping episode. Let's go.
Well, I was gonna say it might not affect all that much the remainder of this episode, as we start with Remy, who has been following Kalina for a few minutes now. It takes maybe 7 or 8 minutes until you start seeing servants. Gathering up around her, making sort of a very squishy but still present perimeter. And of course, there is one who immediately starts tending to tend to her injured arm. But as soon as she tries to touch it, she pulls it out of her reach. She looks at the handmaid in a very stern way, and the handmaid just doesn't insist at all. You hear them chattering a bit, trying to know what happened, why is she injured, and one thing you feel even more now is that she does not want to talk about it. It feels like you need to succeed a bit of an insight roll.
So let's find out. I'll roll the other die. These have some nice cool blues. Okay, it's 19.
Okay. It feels like she doesn't want to talk about it. It's an odd mixture of feeling. There is a bit of shame. There is anger. But it's at the fact that she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to reveal what happened. For fear of what it might imply. Not to her.
Mm-hmm.
You follow her all the way to a house that feels very well furnished, very wealthy. Doesn't feel like one of her house. Feels like the house of another noblewoman. And when she arrives, she tells her maids to leave her alone, and then she knocks on the door. After a moment, you see the door just open slightly. You see a woman, elderly, probably human, but probably closer to her 60s. She looks at her for a moment and, oh dear, come inside. You've heard people talk to other people like this. Usually, among noble, it implies some sort of familiarity, but not blood relative. More like someone that used to take care of her. And she lets her in. Close the door behind her.
Well, I guess the next step would be, does there seem to be like an area with a like a window, or just like
Well, yeah, of course. It feels like a small mansion. When I say small, I mean like a lord's manor, bigger than than an inn, but not exactly a mansion. Someone that's living very healthily off of a pension sort of house. So yeah, there are
The
multiple points of
downsized house.
so yeah, there are multiple points of access: doors, windows. It's not a war building.
okay, just like I mean, I guess probably that's the next question I'd ask. Like, how big is this building? Like, all things considered.
Probably you'd say probably in the cusp of 12 rooms.
Okay. Does there seem to be like any servants hanging around outside?
Yeah, you see a few people tending to the grounds. Um, you see a man probably in his 40s tending to a variety of plants and bushes. You see a woman, this one probably something like a half elf, tending to trees further behind. And you see this dwarf cursing at a fountain that doesn't seem to work on the grounds.
Okay. So not precisely the people I'm looking for presently, but I was like, you know what? Raimi hasn't done a classic home invasion in a while. So he will try to like sneak in from what he can, if he could find something like closer to like a servant's entrance.
Okay. Yeah, sure. It is not an exotic place, so you can go with logic, since you have done this before in your life. So you know approximately where it's supposed to be. I'd say simply make a stealth roll to see if anyone sees you approaching this position, as you've been searching for a while.
Okay, I feel like I'm wasting the natural 20, but all right.
No, because of what I just rolled, I can tell you did not.
Okay, then we're looking at a total of 30.
Okay. You had a moment where it felt like you had made the wrong choice, but fortunately, the door opened in the right direction, and you were able to push yourself at the right angle so that the person leaving this place did not see you. But you have a very good access to a door leading inside now, as it's slowly closing back.
Oh, incidentally, the one who left, did it look like they seemed like a house servant?
Probably something like a courier, leaving in a bit of a hurry. Very slim, with a satchel.
Okay. All right, just as I'm just like making note of the people I run into, if in case I need to know that.
Okay.
And in which case, like Raimi will like slip in through the closing door.
Okay. So yeah, there's a feel of you probably met the personal mailman of this place. All right, so you make your way in, find yourself in a what looks like a oh goodness, what's the word? I don't want to say locker room, but I want the word come out. A little area
Changing
where
quarters.
sorry.
I said
Laundry
changing
room?
quarters.
Yeah, something like that. You know, when servants come in, they put whatever dirty clothes they have. Might be a wet cloak or
Mudroom.
yeah. Feels like pretty much this sort of area. You see a few muddy boots on the floor, a few cloaks which are seems to be very intentionally made to be used while working around the house. Few tools also. But the room you're in right now looks like this. There's another door at the other end, most likely leading deeper inside.
Right, he's going to carefully open that door, considering the near miss that was at the previous door.
Yeah, you had to beat 25.
Oh, okay. We were really skating on the edge there, I see.
Yeah, because I also rolled natural 20, but you know, it's it wasn't as high as yours. All right, so I'd say for this door, it's not locked, but then again, it's not usually something that people are looking to make extremely silent. So, little sleight of hand check, making sure that you don't alert everyone of your entrance.
That one's not as good. 17.
Okay. You get next to the door, listen a little bit. You raise the latch so that no one hears it move as you're pushing the door. You push it, you push it. You start feeling a little bit of resistance, but it is opened enough that you could get in.
This is why you play small burbs as he slips through the opening he made. See, Raimi, you don't need wings. The wings would have gotten in the way.
Well, unless you can fold them back inside yourself, like Zadkans did.
Yeah, fuck you, ASMR.
All right, so now you're entering into an area that feels like a work area for servants. You find yourself in a bit of a kitchen. There's only one person working around in the kitchen, and right now they're not paying attention to the door that's just slightly opened. Feel like they're busy preparing a meal. They're going into the storeroom, coming back, cutting a few things. Looks like a human, probably in his 30s.
It's like, they seem to be like dressed as if they were a chef, or did they just seem to like?
Not a prestigious chef, but enough that you can deduce it's probably that person that is responsible for making meals.
Okay. In which case, like, Raimi is going to just slip by them.
All right. Make a stealth. Sorry, I'm having so much trouble talking tonight. Make a stealth roll, please.
It's okay. What are tongues for? Well, I could tell you what tongues are for, but like 26.
Okay. You get inside. You start walking slowly as you see this person go in the back store and you hear him rummaging through things. You slowly make your way across the room, and just as you're about to open the door, you hear the door from the back store open up very rapidly. You have this moment of and then you hear him, oh, damn it, I forgot it again. And he goes back inside. Roll the 21. Yeah. Okay. I am rolling high also.
Yeah, I swear these servants are going to give me a heart attack.
So, you manage to make your way all the way to the other side. This door is open, so you don't need to do a lot of effort to just push it slightly open, and you leave this food preparation area. There's a long hallway, and there are several doors on each side. Feels like you're probably in one of the main hallway of this place. On the good side, no one seems to be here, and there's carpet everywhere. So it helps for stealth. But on the bad side, there's not a lot of place where you can hide in this corridor.
Yeah. Trying to see if I can. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. This is probably as good of a moment as any to, because like Raimi is trying to reach a very specific goal, I suppose. As he's going to activate his lantern to, for the added advantage of like perception and investigation checks.
Okay.
And basically, as he's like moving down this hall, because while he thinks he might know where they might have gone, he still wants to like keep an ear out, not just for her voice, but also like maybe anybody that might be incoming.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, he basically is trying to like listen to see if like he can pick out Kalina's voice, but otherwise he's going to try to make his way somewhat toward where the front entrance of the building would have been, because he suspects that they might have moved to something like a sitting room since Kalina's visiting.
Okay. Okay. Well, then, yeah, in that case, investigation and perception are definitely going to be useful. I'd go with investigation to figure out where rooms would be, and perception to try and hear her voice.
Okay.
And stealth.
Uh-huh. Like so I'll just go ahead and roll. I'll do, we'll just do it in that order: investigation, perception, and stealth.
Okay.
So investigation, we get 22.
Okay.
Perception, I get a natural 20 with a 29.
Okay.
And then stealth is only a 22.
Okay. Well, this is not going to help your heart. as you're looking at all of these rooms, you have a moment of okay. Usually, servants need access to a certain numbers of room quite easily. So it's usually dining hall, sleeping quarter, and probably a place where you can receive people. So, okay. So it's probably going to be one of those doors that connects to this, and the other doors are going to connect to everything else. So you have a moment of okay. So the easiest one would probably be dining hall and a place where to greet everyone. Start moving forward. You're paying attention to sounds you might hear. Start hearing footstep. Okay, ooh, feels a bit light. So probably a woman. Walk forward. You find yourself at a point where okay, there's two doors here. One to the left, one to the right. Probably the right one, since it would lead away from the entrance, would probably be more of a quarter or something like this. So you lean in to get the other door on the left, and just as you lean in, the door opens, and you just use your balance for a moment. But fortunately, you had to beat 19. So you managed to catch yourself up just before losing your balance, and you pull yourself outside of this reach, but you are staring at the butt of a woman, and then you hear the woman that greeted Kalina inside the room just say, don't forget, she prefers a bit of lemon. And so instead of turning in your direction, the woman turns back in the room and watch, giving you that second and a half to just look around, see there's a vase, and hide yourself behind it. As this woman turns around in the wrong direction to see you and leave this place. Who knew nobles had such good security?
It's to make up for how easy they make it to hide behind all their fancy stuff.
You know, I've always wished, like, I know this would like totally throw realism out the window, but for some reason I really do want there to be a magic item that is exactly like the box in Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's called Minor Illusion.
that's what I was gonna say. It's called Minor Illusion.
Well, yeah, but it's like one of those things, just like, because like, you know, normally if a person like, you know, sees a box in like the middle of a room, it's just like, huh, that's weird. But I want the box to work like, huh, that's normal, and then walk away.
You are aware that if you ask this to the gnomes in the garden, you might actually get it. A cardboard box with a sanctuary spell on it, something like that. So, you know where she is, and you know this is the right room. So as she leaves, you can try to make your way inside of that room if you want.
It's like, I guess my main question is then, like, was their voice pretty muffled before that door opened suddenly?
You didn't hear Kalina's voice, and it felt like the elderly woman raised her voice slightly so that the servant would hear it clearly from the door where she was.
All right, in which case Raimi would go through the door while he had the chance, rather than waiting for it to close and then make an attempt to accidentally draw their attention. Okay. It's like, oh, you're back? That was quick.
Okay, so that can go with the stealth roll that you were doing. You quickly.
And this is when we find out that Kalina rolled a natural 20. It's just like, oh, hello.
So you go inside and you find a small desk. It's not going to be comfortable, but you can hide under it and listen to what's going on here. Make your way in. Like I said, it's not comfortable. You're at an odd position. You're going to feel that tomorrow, but
He's got a few days before he needs to really use his muscles.
so you start hearing the conversation. And Galena starts by just saying, I really have to make it up to them. I hope they don't get in trouble because of all of that happened. And there's gonna be so much trouble very soon. Maybe we should organize a reception, maybe a celebration with firework. It's gonna distract them from the bombardment. I'd never seen so many soldiers, so many creatures, all in one place. I mean, I'd heard from emissaries of other kingdom, but never seen so many of them. I see the elderly woman take a bandage, and well, fine, you can tell me everything you want about it. Just sit down so I can dress up that wound of yours. You hear Kalina answer, I don't know. Maybe I should keep it. You see the elderly woman. No. Come on, sit down. And she raises her sleeve as high as it can go. And you see a distinct mark that looks like the Dragonborn grabbed her. Very hard. But not in a discreet place. The elderly woman is a bit surprised. Well, we have to cover this up. We can't let anyone notice this. Maybe get some balm to make sure that it's a bit numb. You hear Kalina answer, I didn't want this. Why? I saw him wrestle a bull charging me. Because touching me would have meant touching me. But now, if anyone talks, he's going to die for this. I mean, people would just have, they might have reacted a bit strongly to me leaving the castle like this. They might have called me a bit immature. But they're gonna execute him for this. He knows he can't, and he knows this is why he did it. He gave the soldier a reason. A way to make sure that I wouldn't get blamed for any of this. All of the soldiers in the room now know that if words of this gets out, they have to blame him. And now there is physical evidence. They're just going to say that I left because I was scared of him being brutal with me. I never wanted to put him in such a dangerous position. The elderly woman just gently wraps her arm. You know he will sacrifice himself. You remember what he said the day he took the oath. I will keep her safe, no matter the cost. Kalina is nearly crying from this. I've known him all my life. I don't want him to die. Make sure no one sees this. No one. And she starts gently wrapping her arm in a way that feels like she's just wearing an additional layer of clothing. And what about those friends of yours that came in? Very strange people. But I feel like I should at least reward them for everything they did. I should probably warn them in some way to not spread the word of everything that happened. Maybe as part of the ceremony, I can make it up to them. I mean, they went through a whole lot of trouble. Wonder if I can give them anything. I have an idea. Yeah, I think they're gonna like it. We're gonna make them a central element of this celebration. I mean, there's one soldier that survived.
Unfortunately, it was Greg. But, you know.
There's one soldier that survived. I think we can spin this as probably.
Toby, was he infected?
I think you're infected. I think we actually have to get rid of him so he doesn't talk.
I think that the celebration would work well, and we can spin this as they were bringing back intelligence, and they met up with this adventuring group, make sure that everything happened well. I mean, everyone's gonna celebrate everyone as if they were a hero, and with the celebration, they won't notice the siege starting, and we're gonna have to ask the gnomes to make a very, very good firework. Something that sounds very similar to the bombardment on the barrier. That way, people will associate this at least for a few days, maybe a week, with the celebration and not constant explosions and everything that comes with this. I think that should be good. Maybe we'll knight one of them. That always has everyone wrapped
Did
up.
you get water from him?
Yeah. I noticed the little feathered one being very impressed with Katzgan. Maybe we'll make sure he's somewhere in the celebration. Actually, I think I know exactly what kind of gift I can give him. The elderly woman just... Well...
The firefighter's calendar.
But they're all just audience.
Audience in a different pose for every month of the year.
And they'll just, everyone just like, how did she get this?
So after this, you hear the door opening again. The servants come in and put down a few cups for tea and a few things to eat with the tea. You hear the elderly woman says, "I'm sorry, we don't have the same variety as in the castle. Don't worry about it. We're about to enter a very long war. That's the least of our problem." Although she feels very much more vulnerable than she was throughout everything that happened, there's an assurance in the way that Kalina holds herself that wasn't there while she was outside. But now, even more so, it feels like most likely the future queen of a kingdom. They start taking their tea. Conversation pretty much dies off, and the elderly woman takes this to more of a general discussion. A bit of gossip would happen in the city while she was away. You don't hear a whole lot that is very valuable right now, although you do hear a few rumors about what's happening with the war outside. Garrison fell a few days ago. They're worried about an encampment of Blade Master that has stopped sending messages, worried that they might have fallen, or worse, get infected. And there's a little bit of talk about the fireworks of the evening, how they're going to try to blend the firework with the bombardment beginning so that people don't associate immediately impending doom. They're gonna still feel a bit, it's gonna feel like the celebration keeps on going for a few days before everything else sets in.
For some reason, I'm getting like very Final Fantasy X vibes with that last one.
Do they have the resources for this?
That's what I was thinking. Like, that sounds like a good way to waste a lot of resources at the start of a siege.
Morale
I mean, if gnomes
is...
are making them, they probably found a way to turn cat piss into fireworks. So, you know,
Fair enough.
it's like an abundant resource.
Well, maintaining morale.
We need all the fun stuff for the war, so make what you can.
The best way to win a war, take a group of gnome and say, "Go nuts."
The stuff that's too dangerous, just keep it. Like, still make it, but give it to us. We'll use it some other.
We got
Just
prisoners.
just put it behind the door. Do not enter, and we will explicitly enter it when we feel we need to.
We got prisoners if you need to test a few things. Like potions.
If you need to test potions.
So, do you stay even longer? Or it's starting to feel very uncomfortable under that desk? But do you stay even longer? See if they're going to talk about more interesting later on? Or do you stay? Leave?
I mean, given the situation that he has found himself in, I guess the better question is that, like, because at the very least, it does at least seem like Kalina's going to be fine for now, presumably. So I think it just like boils down to is there even like a window of opportunity to leave the room?
Well, there is a window. um,
I would say that like because again, I just do feel like exiting might be awkward. So I think like the next best thing that he could hope for is that
Stay there for the next 3
once people
hours.
have exited, like once people have exited, like he will try to exit through the window.
Right, so like I said, get stuck under the desk for 3 hours. In this awkward position like this. And, ah, goodness. That's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Like you'd think these feathers would cushion this more,
Well,
but it doesn't.
It helps for the first half hour. After that, ha. So, it takes a while. They talk a little bit more about everything that's going to happen. To your great frustration, they do not talk about what they're going to give each one of you. So, you can't spoil the surprise for anyone.
Lame.
Somehow I want to imagine that conversation. It's like, well, and then he just shrugs. It's like, Raimi, what are you good for?
Yeah. You're gonna spy on people. You might as well get the good stuff.
Like, no, I'm not interested in knowing what the chambermaid has done with the butler.
That all seems like stuff. I want to know what relates to me.
Well, it does give you a greater perspective on what noble people can talk about, because you've never actually been in a room with nobles that didn't know you were there.
So just speaking very candidly.
For an extended period of time. And although it does feel slightly normal from time to time, the fact that Kalina is supposed to be the next queen of Bahanor in only a week weighs a little bit on the conversation. And you at least get a sense of how aware of this she is. She does have apprehension toward becoming queen in this setting. You also have a bit of a feeling that it's not the kind of life she would have necessarily wanted. But her father raised her to be an exceptional diplomat. And so she, as much as she's not discharmed by the prospect of gaining this position, the more you hear her talk, the more it feels like it's not a bad choice. She is aware of a lot of things. Even speaks a few times of Fisher, of how bad he was at hiding his feelings. I mean, he almost gave himself up 3 times.
Hey man, it's a lot harder when you can't practice your emotions in the mirror because you don't show them like that.
But she's very fascinated by this idea of people from another shard. She keeps talking about it almost like it feels like, in today's word, it feels like a nerd talking about science fiction, but now you have a noble woman talking about shards. So she's very fascinated by it and very open-minded to it, even going as far as saying, we know that sometimes the laws of everything are different in those shards. Imagine an entire civilization can be born, develop itself, and die in the time it takes to finish a cup of tea. I'm not surprised if in some of those shards there are machines even better made than the one that came in with the group. The elderly woman just laughs, well, more like chuckles a bit at what she's saying, as if, oh, youth, you know, always feeling like the impossible is normal. You can't.
I'm definitely getting like Princess Jasmine meets Princess Kita vibes from her.
And she talks about a few adventures she went on. Although she was always looked after while on these adventures, she feels a bit closer to how all of you think. How she is scared, but simply pushes it away. You have a feeling that, she'd been born a different age. She might be one of the person in the garden. Who knows? But she was born 1,500 years too late.
I'm just saying, with the miracle of the clone spell, anything is possible.
And so, after all of this information and different elements of everything that's going on, eventually they finish their tea, they finish their seemingly very dry biscuit, and eventually get up and leave the room. You hear the elderly woman call for a guard. Tells the guard that if he loses her while she is walking back to the castle, she will make sure that he never has children again. The guard just has a moment of very uncomfortable, yes, ma'am. And you hear them leave. And the elderly woman doesn't come back into this room. So after 3 hours of being in this awkward position, you have this moment of, hold on, my arm doesn't move anymore.
Just like a series of like disgusting cracks.
Does my head? You get up, you find yourself in front of the mirror. Does my head really look like this? Jeez.
I mean, the head actually should be perfectly fine. Like not like 4 or 5 hours ago. Like it had completely gone 180 degrees, so it should be limber.
And oh goodness, some of your feathers are all ruffled up.
Speaking of which, going to be like just like passively looking for like the feathers in that location just to make sure he doesn't leave any behind.
Make your perception roll. It's probably not going to be very hard.
Okay, 23.
That is plenty.
Just picking up a few loose feathers, just like, nope. There's literally only probably one person in this whole sieged area that with these feathers at this size.
You're just about to leave and you see one on the floor. Oh, goodness. Take it. And then you realize all of your fingers in your left hand are still numb from the position you were in. Oh, that's going to feel weird. But make a stealth roll. It's a window. It's not a barred window, a lock window. You just have to make sure that you don't make any noise.
Come on. Please. Only a 19. I know I'm saying only, but everybody's been rolling so well.
Oh no, that's all right. After all of this, oh goodness, you start walking out and you open the door and you have a little moment of, it's been weird here ever since I got no one. Okay, you step outside and you step in something that feels really squishy and oh, I just stepped in shit. But as you have this moment of ah, damn, what did I do? And when you open them, you sort of feel like it's actually a blessing because you had to beat an 18 and you see this dog smelling on the ground and then you realize you have shit on your feet, so you just rub a little bit on your hands and as the dog approaches you just put your hand in front and you see the dog approaching and then going away, recognizing its own shit.
God damn it, Dragon.
I'm not kidding. I rolled 18.
Like I just need everybody to know that there is a reason why like expertise in stealth is like a requirement for low level rogues. Just a PSA in case you didn't already know.
Any of those succeeded by more than like 2?
I can tell you immediately because of all of the bonus that Remy has. If anyone else but him had tried this, you would have been caught when trying to enter the property. Because
Obvious.
you had to beat a 25, I believe. No, 24 to manage to enter this place.
I mean, I had a backup, but the backup required seeing certain individuals, and they just weren't coming up. Anyway.
I rolled a 24. Let's go.
All right, so Tobiyashi and Fisher, Remy has been gone for a very, very long time. How are you going, Remy? How are you going to go about going anywhere from that point?
You mean like just in terms of like making my way back to the group, or
Yeah, the night is falling. You've spent 3 hours in this awkward position.
I guess that depends. Like since nightfall is happening, does it seem like people are still out and about, or does it feel like there's a curfew?
It doesn't feel like there's a curfew yet, but people are extremely concerned. So it feels like there is a self-imposed curfew. There are still a few people trailing behind, but you can feel the mood of everyone as you're walking down the streets, and there is a larger guard presence outside.
Well, in which case, Raimi's just going to take the easy way out, because their group definitely gathered attention from people. So really, all Raimi has to do is just like go up to enough guards and flash somebody like Audience or Fisher, and they'll probably know exactly where they are because people won't stop fucking talking about them.
Yeah, okay. That's gonna be easy enough. So, Fisher and Toby, you basically have nearly 4 hours that you can do stuff if you want to. Or if you really have nothing you'd like to do, you can, like I said, it's the huge question, are you sure you want to go to the inn?
I think
Hmm.
like not long, like pretty soon after realizing Raimi had gone, been like, he probably went to go talk to Kalina and then wander off in the direction Kalina went and then immediately be like, get lost. Be like, I have no idea where I'm going.
Okay.
uh, Never mind.
And since audience has such a nice ability to find his way anywhere at all,
Hmm.
he's probably just as lost as you.
Yes. Um, since Remy was gone, um, I would go to try to find the priest first, and because I want to ask him about the silk, and then after that, probably go around town looking at different shops, and then eventually find myself back. Try to find Fisher and audience wherever they got lost in.
Okay. So
I mean, if you were going to the priest, I would be coming with you probably.
Would you? All right.
Yeah.
okay. So we're gonna go like this. I don't know where he is. So you can just try and figure things out, listening at your intuition and trying to make your way. Or you can start asking question around where he might be, wherever he is, what's his name.
Yeah.
That so
Uh,
one is perception, is investigation.
all right.
You want to do perception and I'll do investigation?
Yeah. I'll do perception. I'll start asking people around, looking for like a holy place of worship. He was a priest, and then if I can, I'd try to look for my pendant on the way. But that's shit. Oh,
Never mind.
yeah, mine wasn't so good either.
It's gonna
I was a 4.
and Fisher.
It's a 7, but I have a +6 to investigation,
Okay, that's a
Actually,
good
see, we
thing.
got a 47.
meaning
I think we should
meaning
be
it was a
doing good.
1.
Dang.
So Fisher, you get ignored.
People built cities different in the past.
Well, no, it's more a question of you're a construct that's asking questions to people. You're getting ignored.
Yep.
Some woman even tries to shoo you away by hitting you with. You'd say that it's probably a sock with something in it, but it's not that hard, so it really doesn't hurt. But she's convinced that it's gonna make you go away.
I think I just probably be confused about what she's doing. And then, well, that's rude. And then, can I take it? And then walk away.
Okay, sure. I'd say it's contested dexterity. Goodness. Okay.
After he says it's rude, I look at her. I'm like, that was kind of rude.
Do you say Dex?
Yes.
7.
Oh, that's okay. I rolled a 1.
Ah, cool.
So she tries to hit you again with this. You think it's a sock with a sock inside it. So she tries to hit you again with it. And you manage to grab it in midair. And you hear Terranat inside of you go, take it and say thank you.
I'll pull it out of her hand. Go. I mean, I don't wear socks, but thanks anyway. I'll find a use for them. I'll walk away.
Tobiashi, you get to see a very confused woman. Not sure what happened, except the fact that now she lost 2 socks.
And now you're sockless. I'll just continue to follow Fisher.
And that's why you rolled so low. Eventually, you
Yeah.
realize that you're going around in circle.
I'm gonna follow you. Wait, do you have any idea where you're going? No, I'm just walking.
I heard of this one place, but I don't think it's true.
Is this the reason why Raimi's actually going to find them? Because they've just been wandering aimlessly for 3
Yeah.
or 4 hours?
Yeah, if you just stay in
we,
one place long enough,
Absolutely.
we'll run into you.
Absolutely. After a certain moment, you sort of notice that you're hearing about this group of people, these 3 people, technically, because audience is also there, 3 people in a horse, going around in circle in the city.
Audience is just like taking a nap on Jorg as a horse.
To be fair, he'd probably be on his own mount. But yeah, you hear about this group of people going around in circle. It's the 3rd time that they cross a large fountain, and people are starting to bet on how long they're gonna take to come back.
Eventually, when we couldn't find anything, I would take a break, sit next to a wall, and just start playing ball wall on it with my rubber metal bouncy ball.
And so after a while, Remy, you hear. And
Start wandering around toward that noise.
you find your group looking like a group of lost kids.
Pretty much.
Tobiyashi and Fisher. Remy has a bit of a odd smell following him.
Oh, like, huh? Hey, look, it's Remy. There's something different about him.
Raimi just does the 3 talon wave. Or 4 talon wave.
And Fisher, you hear Taranad go, something smells fishy in here.
I see his wave with his talons, and then immediately I'm like, God damn, how did I forget that? Because you can't wear socks either.
Because he can't wear socks either.
Toby, you want some socks?
Huh.
Jorg's a horse right now.
I mean, we could put
Audiences.
socks on Jorg.
Feet are also too big.
Hoof socks.
So Tobiyashi, you're the only one who needs a fresh pair of socks.
Are they fresh? Are they dirty? I'll take them and smell them.
It's peasant. It doesn't smell like flowers, but it's not bad either.
It's
All right.
clean.
Yeah, I'll put them in my bag. Thank you for the socks, Fisher.
You do stuff with like fabric. That's your shtick, right?
Yeah. I could
Find a
use
use
something.
for 'em.
Yeah. I could make like a mask or something. Who knows? I'm a man of many wonders.
And make some puppets.
Yeah.
You have sock puppets now. So
Can that be my pet NPC? A sentient puppet, sock puppet.
That's
what we need.
If you ask it to the
A
garden,
tenth.
it might happen. It's exactly the kind of things that a gnome would enjoy making. A sentient
You just
sock
gotta
puppet.
find a way to put your ball in the sock instead of on a chain.
Yes.
So, Remy, you find your way back to your friends who have been attracting quite a lot of attention as they're going around in circle.
Raimi just like cocking his head a bit, throws up his hand, minor illusions, a map, and then dismisses it and turns it into a question mark.
I mean, I could probably pretty effectively draw a map of this area. I keep trying to go a different route but I always end up here again. So, I mean, I know the area pretty well, but I can't get out.
That's true. I've been with him the whole time. It's not like audience or Jorg are being any use of help. Look over at the horse. just
You feel an
eating
invisible
hay.
force slap you in the back of the head.
Not again.
I think it's
The
late
horse is
now.
pretty-
We gonna end. I found like 6.
Oh yeah,
Just
and
all
I
on the
can't
same-
remember which one is where,
that's
but I could go back to 1.
that's the advantage of getting lost in a large city like this. You know where everything is within the first quarter of this city. You know where you can find an inn, a blacksmith, a magical shop, and you know where everything is, except where the guy went.
Mhm.
All right, which end do we pick?
I don't remember which one is where, so I'm just gonna go to an inn.
All
Well,
right.
you see, there's the outside in, there's the coming in, there's the
In and out.
I kind of like the broken toe in. That sounds pretty good.
I feel like audience might want to have a inn where there is at least a bard.
We should go to a full man inn, which is a bunch of men bartenders and baristas. I think audience would like that.
I'm not sure there are baristas in here, but
Although some part of me wants to know, like, what would be like the medieval version of a Starbucks, like their interpretation of the concept.
that is an interesting one that I probably will think about during the week. There were essentially
Chain stores?
no, but even the medieval time had its own version of fast food. It's just very different than what we consider fast food today. But
They just release a chicken out into the yard. There it goes. Go get it. It's pretty fast.
I think the medieval version of Starbucks was just the bakery. Just
that's more,
the cheap one, but not,
oh, okay.
or I guess not cheap.
It's like, oh, what cheap Starbucks have you been to?
It's the priciest one of the cheap ones.
The best branded.
So, you decide you find your way to an inn. In general, just to know what kind of rooms you'll find. Do you try to go for a very pricey one? Something like, I don't know, what Adventure might have taken? Or something more like what the couple living in a village nearby would have taken on their peasant salary honeymoon would be able to to afford.
Their consummation getaway.
I think we'd probably go pricey
Yeah.
if they take the money that we have. I mean, gold is gold, right?
Well,
And denominations under that.
well, you know.
Wait. Why aren't we getting free board and room? We escorted the princess back here. This is what I want to know.
Well, Toby, I think that's because I couldn't find it.
Well, yeah, that is true.
You,
Maybe Remy knows.
I mean, I guess I probably should have just gone towards the big place, but
Yeah, you know
there's probably guards and stuff
that
that I don't
structure,
want to deal with.
that structure that feels a bit on the hill. It's large, made of stone, has towers.
Never would have thought.
Yeah, but when you go to the fancy place, all the guards don't let you in, and then you have to talk to them, and then it's a whole thing, and
We could just tell him that Kalina's covering for us.
nobody believes me when I tell them things.
I could tell him. All right, time to get my talking mouth out.
Well, Tobiyashi did manage to successfully perform a public lynching, so
Yeah,
That is true. I
he's
can't convince
persuasive in
people of a
some
lot.
degree.
your record with talking to people is very
Good, right?
varied. I would
Very
say.
varied. I see.
Varied. Yes.
Okay.
I felt like I talked to someone and somebody died, but I don't remember.
I wouldn't worry about it.
There's also
I
someone
feel like it's
who
happened
died.
twice so far.
I feel there's also someone who died because you didn't talk to it.
That is true.
So,
Hmm.
you want to convince a bar owner?
Yeah, that's why Toby doesn't remember, because he doesn't
Yeah.
want to remember. He's
Yeah,
not
show
ready
me,
yet.
show me the money. Show me the money. I'll try. I'll walk up to the bartender, or the person running the bar, and I am going to go up to him smoothly and say, "So, we are friends with Kalina, you know, the soon to be empress, if that's what you guys call it here. And she said that she would cover us for a free room and board. Would you guys be willing to work with that and like put it on her tab or something? I mean,
Oh goodness. Make it.
We don't know how it works here.
Make.
It's, we're new here.
yeah, we're new here. We just got into town, you know. We just got into town.
Okay. I'd say make a deception roll with disadvantage.
Let's go. Okay. Hmm.
That's exactly how I expect it to go.
So it was a 4. No, it was a 14, and then I rolled a 2. So he was about to accept it, but then
Well, it's probably, the last wink that you made. It sort of ruined the whole thing. But
the last week.
He's like, there's no way. Oh, he's joking. I get it now.
it's probably something like that. So you're talking to this man, probably in his 50s, and he just goes, look at you like this. You almost had me. You knowing
yeah.
the princess.
I was just,
yeah. Well, just for
definitely
that, I'll
out.
give you a free round.
Oh, that sounds good. I mean, so do you guys have cups for horses?
Sure. I mean, we get a lot of guests throughout the year. Although we might not get a lot during the next year, but
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that won't be the case either. But yeah, one for all of us, and then I guess we'll just pay for our rooms. How much would it be for a night here?
Actually,
yes.
now that I'm thinking about it, how many people are in here?
It's a very large city, so you can probably see maybe. You'd estimate about between 40 and 50 people in the room.
Okay. Like, Raimi's going to, like, look up and, because, like, this might work out and this might not. It'll kind of depend. But, Raimi is going to, point to himself, and then he's going to minor illusion the... just because, like, because I believe he was pretty much, dressed as you would expect, and like Minor Illusions, the Silver Tongue Bard.
Okay.
It's a shot.
Hmm. I'm thinking. So, well, one of them. Oh, that's a very unusual way to ask for something. Don't think I've know this person. You think he's been
I think
in here recently?
like no, Raimi shakes his head,
Oh.
and Minor Illusions. Minor Illusions, another individual that looks very flashily dressed and with a lute.
Oh, right. Oh, that's so confusing. But I think he. So yeah. I think.
Are you
he's-
asking if there is a bard, or are you wanting to do something?
Well, he's understanding. He wants to know if there's a bard. So looks around.
I think he wants entertainment.
He looks around in the room, and I'm sure he's still here. He was performing a little earlier. Ah, there he is. Just giving him a slap behind the head, telling his day is not over.
Sounds like a plan.
It's like Raimi kind of like looks up and like looks up at the bartender, points to himself, and then gives kind of like almost like mimicking a performer's bow.
Oh, you want to do something?
Raimi nods.
Oh, what can you do?
uh, now here's the funny thing, like Raimi is going to very simply like he's going to pull out his set.
Okay.
And just like at the very least he's just like because like not precisely activating it yet, but just like just like pulling out a figure.
Right. Well, sure. There's room to try something. There's a little stage at the other end of the of my establishment, and I'm not exactly sure what you plan on doing with this. Just a warning: people are getting a little bit restless right now because of everything that's been happening. So be sure of what you're doing. I'm not paying for the priest if you get lynched by bottles.
Maybe nods.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Now, Draken, just because I feel like this might be the exact kind of or maybe I could probably go either way, but I just want to see what happens. So Raimi is going to go up to the stage, and he's going to set it to the War of Aberration setting.
Okay.
But with the key difference, unlike how he did it when he was doing his test run, he is basically going to fashion a performance or fashion an encounter where basically a morale boosting
Okay.
sort of battle.
A hopeful
That's like
situation.
something that looks like something that looks evenly matched, but he's also making sure that the appropriate side is getting the support it needs to make it feel like a victory.
Okay. Okay.
And probably now, having now witnessed a very specific individual, that one's definitely going into the fight.
All right, with some heroes. Okay, all right. Well, in that case, I'd say it's definitely intelligence, but is there a skill that would help? It's using the broader aspect of it, but investigation.
All right. I won't say no to that. That's gonna be 19.
Okay. So you start judging everything, placing everything there, trying to make a good representation, maybe something that feels slightly like a movie, like strong start, a bit of a moment where, oh no, it feels like they're gonna lose, and then whoops, suddenly the heroes arrive, and then everything goes back to winning the field. And so you figure out, okay, you're gonna need this, this, and this. And to make sure that it feels like a real surprise, I'm also gonna make you do a sleight of hand check so that you can just fling a little figurine on the table without anyone seeing them, so that reinforcement seems to just appear on the
Come
table.
out of nowhere. Oh yeah, no, that's a 29.
Okay. Well, all in all, I'd say all you're missing is someone playing music, which happens.
I got this.
I was about to say though, Raimi can provide his own music.
Give me a drum.
Raimi just copies like epic music that he's heard from other bards as the background piece.
I'll get out my sock puppets.
So.
Is that what you turned them into?
You're making this music of combat as everything happens. And with the rolls that you made, you managed to make a very convincing thing. Sound effect, and even after a while, even the bard that was there eventually wakes up and sort of adds in a little bit, He's a bit behind, so he's not exactly helping everything because he doesn't know what's gonna happen. But, hey, he managed to do something convincing. He's not too drunk to help you. So even he pitches in, and you also have then now this feel of combat and music with also Tobiyashi drumming on tables.
Yeah.
Make a performance roll.
Who, me? Okay.
Yeah.
We need to figure out if Raimi needs to find a way to shut you up.
I rolled a flat 15.
And that's not too bad. Above average, definitely. So, okay. You don't feel that he's hindering your effort.
He lets it go for now then.
And so you have this very entertaining evening of combat with creatures and magical explosion, and eventually the side of good wins. And you have everyone in the room starts applauding as this combat comes to a close. And yeah, I just wanted to have a little bit of music while I was explaining. And then slowly everything dies down, and the fight lasted maybe, I don't know, a good 15 minutes, maybe 20 if you saw that you could add an additional chapter, more than one wave of, oh no, it's not going well. Oh yeah, it's going good. It's going. Oh, no, what just happened? And oh yeah. But after a little while, everything dies down, and you're very popular, Remy, for a moment. And some people are even, probably to your dismay, giving you hugs and thanking you, but a bit acting as if you were a child, and some of them are more ruffling your feathers more than just being kind. But, you get the idea that they have no clue what you are.
It's like, I don't know what this costume's about, but
I don't know what way the costume comes in and how it helps, but we've seen worse.
it's like the plastic is really showy, but we won't tell them. And it just like gets really self-conscious, like plastic.
We can see where you tied off your costume there. There's a little string hanging. Some even gives you a few coin for this interesting evening. And so you suddenly find yourself 22 gold richer, along with 17 silver and 60 copper. Even the owner of the tavern at the end just, that was very interesting. I mean, very unusual, but you all look like very unusual people. By the way, your horse is acting funny, and I think he doesn't like where he is.
By the way, why did you bring the horse indoors?
I wasn't gonna bring the beer outside to him.
If you want to do this again in a few days, why not? Come back.
Maybe just because he's grown very attached to that very specific bow, but he does the bow that he's seen Skadron do a few times.
Right, so slowly everyone starts leaving the place, feeling amused and a little bit more relaxed. Of course, some of them, the moment that they look up, they notice the difference in the sky. The magical barrier has been put up around the castle. It causes a little bit of refraction in the stars. But everyone goes back to where they are, to where they live. A few of them go up to their room. The tavern keeper. I don't know why it feels weird when I say it, but that's what I want to say. Looks at all of you. Well, it's been such a nice night, and everyone paid while they were looking at you, performing whatever that was. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you stay in for half price tonight. And I'm gonna let the horse sleep for free.
Raymond will say in a young girl's voice, "Thank you, mister."
Oh, okay. Well, didn't expect that. Okay, so for your entire party, so 4 people and a stable place.
5. Just do another bed.
Oh,
I don't think he wants to sleep in the stable. He'll turn into a person when he's Tired enough.
I feel like I've heard that story before, but it was with pumpkins and mice. Okay. 5 people it is then. So 2 gold for the entire group. And you get comfortable rooms. You each have your own rooms. Bed is clean. There's a little footlocker in front of your bed, a little desk. There's even a little jug of water. And a window.
Although incidentally, Raimi will 100% take a little bit of time to wash his hands and foot before he goes to sleep.
Save you from being noticed.
Yes, but now that he's not in danger of being noticed, he would very much like to sleep like he wasn't sleeping in a shithole.
And I feel for Remy. I stepped into fresh dog waste while I was barefooted once before, so. Okay, so. You all have your own room. You can divide up the 2 gold in whatever way you want, or have one of you pay. Just, I'll let you all settle that among yourselves.
Actually, now that we do have a good sampling, this isn't like what I'm gonna call pressed or printed coinage, is it?
That's a good point.
In terms of the differences between the gold, silver, and copper that we were carrying around in the future, does it differ much from what we're working with whatever they gave us?
No, yes, absolutely. However, you do have a way around this. When you're about to hand in the 2 gold, he looks a little bit puzzled as he's wondering if it's actual real money. Doesn't recognize the city printed on the coin. And there's probably something funny with the numbers at the bottom representing the year. If you have something he can identify with, maybe, I don't know, something else, small gem maybe, a small one, not a big. When he says that, he's this a small one, not a big one.
How about a pound of salt? Those are crystals.
Hey. Yeah.
Hold on.
That's probably the closest thing we have to do.
This is the time. It's a time of war. Salt, spices.
Dude, for a guy that runs an inn, yeah.
Absolutely, I'm just looking at how the cost of salt. It's just, well, if you got 4 pounds of salt, it covers the bill.
Don't we have 10 pounds?
I don't know. It's your inventory.
I don't have any salt in my inventory.
Okay. I know I have
because-
1 pound, and
because
I took
none of
salt
the-
from somewhere.
Actually, because I think since none of the party has any money that isn't rooted 1,000 years in the future, I don't think anybody has any gems either.
Well, Remy does.
Well, I do, but the thing is, Ray want to give up those gems for anything, so I think he would just give him 20 old silver.
Where did you get the old silver?
From what you just did.
From what
Sorry. Yes, then it works.
I said, did truffles.
Yes,
I have
the
plenty of
old
old
money
coinage
that I
right now.
got just now.
Yeah,
What
that's good. Sorry, I was looking
give
at
him a
audience
platinum
inventory
truffle.
to see if he had any gems. Yeah, no, sure, of course, that works. Absolutely. So, deduce 2 gold from 20 silver from what you have made while you're in here. And so,
Actually, no,
Yep.
no, just in case, I'll make it the two H gold. It's not a huge deal.
okay.
It's like
We just give him a platinum truffle for free, get him hooked, and then he gives us room and board for free whenever he wants a platinum truffle.
because
But he has to pay for it.
because honestly, like, because I have been that unfortunate situation where it's like I have all my bills that are much bigger than what I'm paying for, so I actually maybe want to hold on to my lower denominations.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh, no problem.
So 2 gold
Okay.
in ye old gold.
Yeah, okay,
Ye
good,
old
good.
gold.
Yeah, sure, no problem. And you each a key for your individual rooms. And so, unless there is...
I pass out.
I was going to say, unless there is something you actually want to do before the stream ends, you all go to sleep and fall asleep. And, well, I was planning on doing something for the sleep, but since audience and since Jorg and audience are missing...
We'll
I
do it.
mean,
at the start of next
when
session.
they come back, no, I'm just...
All right. Well, in that case, the only one that I'd probably like to do is Tobiyashi,
Let's go.
because
I was hoping for it.
as you fall asleep that night comfortably in a bed that's feels so much better than sleeping outside. I mean, you're a monk, you don't mind, but you also don't mind sleeping in something comfortable once in a while.
Yeah.
You easily fall asleep, and it feels good. Not having to worry about being eaten by a monster while you're sleeping. Then, from your perspective, morning comes, and you get up, stretch a bit, and it feels like you were in a bed when you went to sleep. You find yourself outside. Third floor. You see a large rock nearby. And you see a person standing in front of you.
Huh.
There's familiarity in this. Not in the sense that you've seen this person, but you've felt that person before.
I'll walk up to him. Do I know you? I feel like I know you from somewhere. How did I get out here?
He looks at you and put his hands together. He gives you a little bow. And
Bell back.
this is when you realize what's in his hands and what's not in your hands.
Hey,
You're,
those are mine.
He looks at you and, making it in a very obvious way, takes a combat stand. Not a threatening combat stance. Sort of like when your master say, do this.
Okay. I'll take the stance with them.
You see him arming a punch. And he looks at you expectantly, sort of in a way that feels like he's saying, I'm gonna punch you now.
Okay. I will, I guess I'll accept the punch.
So,
I'll see where this is going.
take a moment and he strikes you. A good strike. It feels like it really punches in. But then it feels like something penetrates. A sort of energy goes inside of you for a moment. And then he looks at you. And he starts adopting your way of moving.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I guess. I'll throw a punch back.
As you throw your punch, you see him react in a way that feels like he slightly anticipated this. Sort of as if you telegraphed your attack. But you're good enough to not do that anymore.
Okay. I'll go, how did you do that? You shouldn't have even seen that coming.
He looks at you again. Gives you a bow.
I'll bow back.
Turns toward the rock, and you see the glove emitting energy, and he punches the rock. And you see a fissure go inside the rock.
Huh.
There is also a very slight boom that happens. As if someone just popped a cherry bomb. You know, just a...
Wait. Who are you?
He opens his hand, as if to shake your hand.
I'll shake it.
He grabs your hand, grabs the other one, and then as he's touching you, you see that he feels about you. He understands you. He gives you a smile. And then you're surrounded with booming energy, and you wake up with this explosion. Really in surprise. What the? And then you see your hands. They're brimming with energy. It slowly dies down. Your glove have awakened.
Let's go.
Hey.
It remembered when you tried to break that rock and wanted to
It
make sure you
did.
put
It
it
did.
down.
Now I'm gonna go back and have them watch me punch another rock.
No,
And
you gotta
see
go
what
find that same rock.
And
Yeah,
just
I gotta find the same rock.
and just so that you know, I did add this power after you started saying repeatedly, well, now I want my fist to burst rocks.
Let's go.
So it's the closest thing you can get to that. So basically, everything I written everything. Of course, I didn't add it on D&D Beyond because I didn't want you to know in advance what might have happened. Your glove gives you an increase in wisdom, and it also increases your maximum wisdom proportionally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Alrighty.
So
Sounds good.
for now, it's only a +1 wisdom, but it also means that your maximum wisdom now is 21 if you want to. And this is
Okay.
going to increase as you gain in level. You have the Thunderous Punch that deals thunder damage when you do this. It's similar to your Stunning Strike.
Oh, Stunning Strike. Okay.
Except,
Well, I don't have one, but yeah.
well, actually, that's the last thing that I'm going to tell everyone before the stream ends.
Hey!
You all level up one level
Let's
tonight.
go.
So you actually are going
No,
to get them
only
very
the
soon.
three of us, because we're here.
But you're one step closer to getting Stunning Strike. But what I mean is that it's an ability that is identical to Stunning Strike, except that
Okay.
it deals thunder damage
Thunder
instead of
damage,
stunning.
okay. All right. Sounds good.
And there is a saving throw. You can push someone to the ground with this. It's
Yeah.
the closest thing that I could see that would be a bit like making things explode. Thunderous damage.
Yeah.
The second ability, because since you joined in later, you get two evolution of your object at once instead of just one.
To catch up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So basically, the second one is well, the first one is based on what you wanted, a sort of combat insight.
All right.
Because your original idea would have felt not very rewarding, I
Yeah.
tweaked it a little bit more so that you can give yourself a bonus by marking an opponent with your key. So you use a key point, but while you're doing this, you get a bonus to hit, to your AC, and to dexterity saving throw from your opponent.
Okay.
That's
Sounds good.
The other one, when he grabbed you, that's a tactful insight. Tactile insight. Meaning that if you're touching someone, even from a punch, you can get some information from them. So if you're interrogating someone, the moment that you're touching them, you have an advantage on wisdom insight.
Okay.
And during combat, by again using a key point, I know it's a resource you have very
That's
little
good, that's
of,
good.
but it adds to what you can do with this. By you spending a key point, you can extract one information, any immunity it has, or resistance, or temporary bonus, or temporary hindrance, or you can also get a very general sense of his health in 25% increment. So if you're getting frustrated, he's not going down very fast, you can spend a key point, and so long as you connect, you can force me to give you, he's at 75% hit point, he's near 50% hit point, something
Okay.
like that. And the
Sounds good.
last one, the explosion, you get the cantrip Thunderclap.
Oh, nice. Okay, Thunderclap. I'd always choose it on any wizard that I pick, too. That's great.
For everyone else, because I believe Fisher, Remy, and audience, you also get an increase in your objects. But since you are more familiar with your objects, I'm just gonna send them to you a bit more discreetly. But the main portion of it, Fisher, you get a new level 1 spell, and a few other bonus. No, actually, it's a spell and an additional spell slot. Remy, a spell and an ability. And for audience, well, there's a dream part to his, so it's going to be first thing we do next one, because he's going to talk to a small dragon.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And
And that
unfortunately,
small dragon's gonna keep bitching that.
Exactly.
like,
Where's
where
my
fucking gems?
Jorg asked me for medium evolution, so for him, it's going to be level 8. So, but that's the end of this, and you get to level up.
Let's go.
All right.
I get an extra attack and... Okay. All
Yeah, I'm gonna add everything in D&D Beyond during the week, so you get
right.
exactly the entire list and exactly what are the bonuses. So,
Can you also let me know if you finished that spell?
oh yes,
you're working on?
sorry,
Can you
yeah,
just
absolutely.
also
It's not
Message
written.
it to me with the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, no problem. It's not written in D&D Beyond, but I believe I finished even correct spell checking it. So, all right. Well then, that's it for tonight. I hope you'd had a pleasant evening. We're gonna end with a little campfire. It's always relaxing. So, I hope you had a pleasant evening. I hope you are going to be here next week. Don't worry, Jorg is going to be in better shape, and audience is going to be here.
Here.
Hopefully, because if not, I'm getting a very awkward beginning of game with him receiving something from his object, but not having the context. But, like I said, I hope you had a pleasant evening. I hope to see you again next Wednesday or Friday if you're watching this on the rebroadcast. And, well, as always, if you enjoy the show, you can support the stream by following us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also support the stream by making a donation, becoming a Patreon, subscribing on Twitch, and simply by spreading the word of this channel, which we hope you think is a pleasant channel to watch. It's been fun for me. I saw there was a whole lot of things happening in the chat. As always, sorry I didn't answer. I'm always a little bit busy being the dungeon master, but always very pleasant to see. Don't worry, I read everything once it's over. I read really everything. So thank you again, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
10A.